This is the oldest aquaculture farming system in the world, and one of the oldest man-made structures in the world. We're not in Egypt, we're not in the ancient lands of Mesopotamia, we're in Australia at Budj Bim National Park. This land is filled with incredible geology, with inactive volcanoes, waterways, forests and caves, all formed over the last 300,000 years. It is also steeped in history and culture. This is the home of the Gunditjmara and contains stories and practices of extraordinary engineering, in particular with its aquaculture farming system. Joey Saunders is the acting general manager of the Budj Bim National Park. He tells me the story of how this land came to be.
37,000 years ago, all this country changed to what it is today. So before that, it was totally different. So the waterways, including all the scoria and the lava flow. So just at the very back, we call it a pimple in the landscape, but it's a dormant volcano. So that erupted 37,000 years ago. And then over time, that lava spilled out and over again. Then it went another 50 and 60 kilometres out to the ocean and followed Kalara. And then from that's when us as Gunditjmara people end up changing and manipulating the whole water system and changing the landscape to what it is today. So the water that you see all through there has been manipulated to farm and catch all the eels, the short-finned eels, we call them kuyang, that swim up through the water system. In the late or sort of 1800s, a drain was put in, but before that drain that was put in, the eels used to go swim underground from the back of Lake Condamishn, and then they'll pop up here into the water, into a water spring. And then us as Gunditjmara, men and women, that's when we started our farming of the eels. So at the very back here, with the lake system, there's a lot of fish trap systems and complexes, ranging from around that sort of 150 metres long. We've carbon dated it up to 6,600 years old. So the oldest aquaculture system and farming system in the world, and that's the reasons why we got World Heritage listing here, which is crazy. Yeah, we're so lucky to have what we got here. I wouldn't have imagined it. My dad and the elders wouldn't have imagined it. But yeah, it's to have a World Heritage site on your own country, the only one in Victoria for its cultural values as well. We're the only ones that are doing this in the world. With a 6,600 dating, we're older than the pyramids and the Stonehenge. So to provide that sort of tourism for people to come and see, because it's crazy out here. It's I reckon it's the best job ever. There's no other job I don't want to do.
I couldn't tell by the way you're talking about it.
So much
passion.
There's so much, and we're so grateful. Like, I'm grateful for the elders that have done what they've done here. My dad and other elders that have built, reflooded the lake. I like to call it on this country, or my dad said, that there's a cultural footprint on this country. It's just waiting to appear. When you do good things by country, it provides back. And that's been the whole thing about us as looking after the country. No one owns it, we're just caretakers of it. And that's from that cultural burning, from looking after the animals and all that sort of stuff as well. So it's provided what we got here today, and it's been the most amazing thing ever.
It's an impactful story detailing the significance of this World Heritage listed area. Budj Bim National Park has a special place in the Australian landscape. Joey tells me the story of its creation.
This is our belief. We believe that Budj Bim was half man, half beast. He had 4 other brothers. And when he laid himself as, I like to call it as a traditional monument, when he laid himself out, when he exploded, everything that you see is all his blood and all his teeth. So we were here that time. To see that happening, that's what our beliefs are and how this country was created. Budj Bim was called Man Eccles from someone that lived there but then it's called Budj Bim, which means high head. So that's his forehead that's peeking out in the country.
Having the oldest aquaculture farming system in the world is just one of the many great feats of the Gunditj Mara. With evidence of over 37,000 years of continual life, they have been masters of engineering. By manipulating the landscape through fire and building stone houses, as just a couple of examples. We're travelling through the national park to Curtinage to see an example of an eel trap after getting a quick lesson about the Gunditj Mara weather seasons.
So you got the big wet season, flowering, fattening up, the dry out, and the big dry, and then the early wet season. But if we go into the end of the early wet season, is when the young elvers start surging back up in the streams. So they'll start coming back. So that's the second stage of the eel life cycle. And this is what we've been talking about the whole time. Initially, a whole trap system will have a stone arrangement that you see here that are between two depressions. So you've got one depression up there and one just behind us. Between two depressions, there's a man-made channel that connects up two parts that you would have water coming through. So you use multiple depressions and then that funnel of water going in between those and then creating those fish trap systems. And then the eel baskets will go in between that.
Right.
Easiest way to explain the eel basket is like a witch's hat. You got the lip on the bottom where it sits down. If we wanted to fasten that water up, we'd put the weir down. Water would have came through. Place the eel baskets. Eels would have came through. The big ones would have got stuck, wedged themselves because they follow the flow of water. And then whatever's in that basket, that's your feed for the night. So the eels are not part of our main diet or anything like that. They're like a delicacy. It's something that we can trap and know that we can have 12 months of the year.
Curtinage is quite a place. Seeing the physical evidence of the man-made eel traps really has an impact. Imagine the trial and error and the extensive wisdom it would have taken to create this 6,600 years ago. Another feature of Curtinage is the smoking tree. This manna gum has a hollowed trunk with an opening at the base and another about 2 metres up. Inside the hollowed trunk are notches when the Gunditj Mara hang the kuyang, start a fire and then cook the eels, acting as a natural smoker. There are hundreds, if not more, of these trees across the park. Then there's the bird hide, which is a great place to sit and reflect and try to process the evidence of thousands of years of civilization. For Joey, it's a troubled past, yet a bright future, as he sees how Gunditj Mara culture can, despite the struggles, live on in today's society.
I wish that if nothing changed in the way of who we are and stuff, I wish that I was able to speak the language, tell stories of the dream time, especially what this place was, what happened at Tayrak, all over my country. Be able to sing my songs and dance, know what to put on my body when I'm dancing for the country, and everything else, but still live in the 21st century as well at the same time. Because everyone's got a right to practice their culture and who they are and everything else. I'm jealous that people come here and learn about us, and they're talking their language, and I know everything about them, but I don't, and I'm the oldest living culture in the world. So I'm fully jealous of them. But I love them because they speak the language and they still practice it and everything else. But to have this in our own backyard in Victoria, we've got other World Heritage sites, but to be the only one in Victoria, it's its own truth-telling story. You can't deny what's out here. It's pretty much in front of you. You've seen it with your own eyeballs. To have the fish traps carbon dated and come back 6,600 years old, you can't say, nah, that's a lie. Because it's science. So it's...
do people try and dismiss it or diminish it? Or...
Yeah, you cannot make everyone happy, and you can't make everyone change their mind and what they believe and everything else, because everyone's got their own culture and their own beliefs. I mean, other people say, like, you guys we weren't here or anything like that, and that's okay, because over time things will change and mindsets will change. It's just about just having a constant narrative of who we are, and as Gunditjmara people, but as a nation and country as well. And just keep going with that truth telling and telling that story.
It has been a powerful and poignant experience at Budj Bim. Listening to Joey speak leaves quite an impact. To have evidence of your culture dating back so long is extraordinary. To have it questioned seems odd, at the very least. We live in a country we can all be proud of, with the oldest continually living civilization that we can all be proud of. This is a place where you can really feel something special.